Man, this movie is a lot. Hey there guys, how are you? And welcome back to the channel. Well, the Christopher Nolan series is coming to an end here on this channel. This has been so much fun taking a trip down memory lane in the build-up to Tenet's theatrical release, which is finally coming around next week. But before we get to that, let's talk about what is his most recent film, Dunkirk. Of course, Nolan wrote and directed this one, and it stars a bevy of talented people, including Tom Hardy, Mark Rylance, Kenneth Branagh, and Harry Styles. Who knew? This is a war thriller based off of true events with fictional characters, centered around the evacuation of Allied troops from the French city of Dunkirk. 400,000 men are trying to escape this situation practically all at once before Nazi forces can take hold. So a couple years ago, in the build-up to the release of Dunkirk, when I heard that Christopher Nolan was directing a film set during World War II, I was hyped. To put it in the most mild sense of the word. Obviously, he's one of the best directors working right now, and he's delving into a very Oscar-heavy genre. Hits like Saving Private Ryan and Hacksaw Ridge were both universally acclaimed and absolutely brutal films. And I couldn't wait to see what Nolan did with a war flick, and I went to the theater back in 2017 to see it on opening weekend, and needless to say, I was not disappointed. This movie also universally praised. It got tons of Oscar nominations, winning 3. It also got a nomination for Best Picture, as well as Nolan's first ever nomination for Best Director. And on a rewatch recently, all those accolades and those criticisms were well warranted. This is another Nolan classic. This movie depicts a brutal, gruesome, scary situation, and Nolan directs this as if we, the audience, are in the action with these young men. It's a given with whose name is on this film how well made it is. The direction is awesome. It's also one of the most well-edited war films I think I've ever seen. It's so fast-paced and so frantic, almost a reflection of the panic in all of these young soldiers who are desperately trying to get out. Similarly, Hans Zimmer, a frequent collaborator with Nolan himself, magnificent score for this film. The theme music is so frantic here, and it really helps to accentuate the story that Nolan's trying to tell. Panicked, quick thinking, and loud. Speaking of, one complaint that I got about this movie actually comes from my little brother, who I distinctly remember taking to the movie theater with me to see this. And I remember after the movie, he told me he thought it was too loud. And that's not necessarily something I agreed with him on. Yeah, I noticed it was loud. But that's literally the entire point. Christopher Nolan wanted us in it with these men. And if we're on the ground with these men, if those fighter planes are zooming by, if bombs are going off right next to us, you bet your ass it's gonna be loud. But yeah, don't know what else he was expecting with that. All of the acting is great in this movie, as per with a Nolan flick. Tom Hardy's face acts really well. Gosh, is he ever gonna have another Nolan film without a mask? But yes, we do sometimes get what's known as the Tom Hardy mumble whenever he's on screen. Sorry, gotta do it. I wasn't sure which part of you would break first, your spirit or your body. But Tom Hardy's a freaking boss, man. He was great in this film as per. Former Oscar winner Mark Rylance is also a really great presence in this movie. Definitely a more calming, assuring person helping those in need in this flick. Definitely a fantastic person to have in a situation like this. Kenneth Branagh was also really fantastic in the moments that he has in this movie. And I also thought all the young soldiers were really great. The audience character is played by Fionn Whitehead. My apologies if I mispronounced your name. He was really great as well. And yes, Harry Styles from One Direction appears in this movie. And let me tell you something else. He's in it a lot more than I remembered from watching it the first time. But even he's really good in this movie as well. Very determined, very intense. I can't wait to see more of him on the big screen. One thing a lot of you may notice about Dunkirk is that unlike most other war films, which are abundant in really fleshed out characters, Nolan centers this movie somewhat more around the events rather than the characters. It's not that I didn't care about these characters. I definitely really wanted them to get out of this situation. But you'll notice that these characters are clearly not as fleshed out as a movie like, say, Saving Private Ryan. And again, it's not like you don't care about these characters, because this is a terrible situation, but it's just something that's very noticeable. It's more centered around the event and trying to get these young men out of this event. And as soon as the movie starts, we're in it for sure, which is something I really admired. I almost found myself trying to find ways out of it for these guys. It's a very claustrophobic movie in that sense too, and man, Dunkirk is an experience. But all in all, centering the movie around the event I definitely feel like was the right call, but it's something that will work to the detriment of the film because the characters aren't as interesting. All in all, Dunkirk is a technical masterpiece in my opinion. Very good war flick. I'm gonna give it an A-. I definitely recommend checking out Dunkirk. It's out everywhere on Blu-ray, 4K, digital right now. I especially recommend watching it if your movie watching room or your man cave, whatever it is, if it has that nice little surround sound stereo system, I think that's the best way to watch this movie right now. But what do you guys think of Dunkirk? Have you guys seen it before? I'd like to know all of your thoughts down in the comments section below. As you guys know, I am always game to talk movies with you guys. But man, oh man, we finally made it to the end of Christopher Nolan's filmography on the channel. Thank you all so much for your support through this entire playlist. It's been a great time looking back at all of his old films. But the whole series is not complete just yet. No. Next week, we finally get Tenet. Look out for my review of that very soon. I'm so excited to go to the theater to see that. You have no idea. But guys, if you're enjoying my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can so you don't miss my review of Tenet or any other of my new content coming out. And if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button as hard as you possibly can as well on your way out. Thank you guys so much again for stopping by. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much again for your support of the channel as well. Look forward to more fun content very soon. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.